John Moran here with Solutions 8, and today we're going to be sharing with you the new way that you can define a custom audience. Also, why Google is better than Facebook. And I'm not apologizing for that. So in the new way that you can define a custom audience inside of Google Ads, there's been some additional layers of customization or specification that you can actually define in your audience targeting that is much more expansive than it used to be, and honestly, way better. Everyone that used Facebook that tries to go over to Google says, okay, we'll target, the 37-year-old female that likes yoga. And you can do that a little bit in Google Ads, but it wasn't really well built out. Google is what they are doing. Facebook is who they are. That's kind of how I describe it. If you were to kind of split the two off in a nutshell and say which layers of targeting are you going to want to use. And while I like Facebook, and I think that you can refine and get to there, Google has given us kind of a shortcut right to the end. And I want to kind of share with you some really, really unique ways that you can use the custom audience targeting inside of Google Ads and how it would actually apply. So let's dive in. Here is the new custom audience section. To get to there, you have to go to Tools and Settings, Audience Manager. I'll just actually share with you. So Tools and Settings, Audience Manager, and then once you get there, you'll land on this page. Just make sure you click on Custom Audiences here, and then click this plus symbol. And this is now the audience you can define. So this is, name it whatever you want to be. This is kind of like your custom audience inside of Facebook, but you have a few different cool options now. And these cool options all do something different and unique to each other. So you can say people with any of these interest or purchase intentions. So purchase intentions, women's red shoes as an example. You can add this and it'll say, well, here's the people that are interested or purchasing. There's 1 to 5 billion weekly impressions, not unique. 57% of them are male, 43 are female. Kind of odd, but honestly, this actually isn't really the best. This is just kind of Google's defined predictive indicator of who they are based on websites they visit. So don't really use this as that's the wrong kind of audience. Make sure you test the strategy, because this is what's important over here. You get to have all of the other different type of age, and then parental status, and then topical information about them, etc. But this is how you define people who have interest or purchase intentions. So if you're selling a product or service, even services work just as well as products. I would actually run shopping, but this is good for a supplementary campaign. But purchase intentions, which is really good. The next section is people who search for any of these terms on Google. Well, think of it like your keyword strategy. If you have a search campaign running and you're running keywords and people are searching those on Google and you're bidding them, use that keyword list in here as well. Because this is a way for you to define an audience of a person who took a specific action on a Google search. And instead of finding your search ads, you're going to go to them. You're going to find them. So if you at 2 o'clock in the morning are not running your ads and someone's looking for, dentist near me as an example, and you can say anybody that typed in dentist near me in a defined radius, put ads in front of them, you're now getting to a person who has interest in finding a dentist near them. Again, this is only going to be running on Google properties, so YouTube, GSP, search, etc. So it's not hyper intensive, but basically you want to have it running on Google properties, even on maps too, is something that this can help. So moving on, people who browse websites similar to, very interesting. Now let's think about how we would use this if you are a tire store as an example, and you said discounttire.com. So people who browse similar websites, there's 0 to 100,000 weekly impressions for discounttire.com. Now, this is something that, say, if you are browsing websites similar to, you're probably in the market to buy tires, and I sell tires e-commerce, so I'm going to be looking for everybody who visits this website. Very similar websites. So Google understands and defines what these websites are from your Google Search Console, and they're able to delineate between what type of product and services that website has, so that, and share with other type of web service, like TireRack.com as an example. And it can identify people who may be in the market, and that's something that you can even add as another area of inside your targeting search terms. Say, people who search for this on Google, if they went to discounttire.com here, you can say people that have searched this on Google and browsed similar websites too, so you can start to overlap these. Now, it's not a refine. It doesn't mean this and this. It's an or, how would I describe this? Or relationship, this or that or that or that. So one of them has to work. But you can see that when people search discount tire on Google and they browse similar websites, now we have 50 to 100 million impressions. most likely male. This is probably more accurate just from the demographics of tire buyers. But this is a way to use this. So I'm going to remove this now, remove that, and remove that. People who use apps similar to. This is something that's very, very popular. Now, if you have an app that you're looking to promote, or even a type of demographic of people, like dating apps, as example, weather apps, whatever maybe you're looking for a person that is, if you do Facebook, you might as well just target everybody. But you can actually pull up an app. And what's cool about this is if I type in things like weather, it'll say, here's all the weather apps. And people who are using these, like the weather and clock widget from Android, you can now say people who use apps similar to this. Like this is a way for you to add your targeting. So really, really cool if you have an app development and you're looking to gain, kind of a break into a competitive market of people who are actually using apps. That's a great way to identify them. Or people who visited these places. Now this again gets really broad, but if you type in like event, it'll actually give you different, performing arts and theaters. That's great. That could be really defined for you. If you're a playhouse, and you want to have a 20-mile radius and people who visited performing arts theaters, and you want to advertise to them because you're having a show on the 12th of whatever, this is a way for you to define people on what they're doing. All this to say that why this is, in my opinion, better than Facebook is Facebook has interests in hobbies and segmentations. These are much more defined as to more recently, majority of the time within the last 14 days. And what that means is that I don't care who you are as a avatar. I don't care if you're 65 years old or if you're 19 years old. If you're looking to buy something, doesn't matter. I mean, think about your front door to your store. If you had a brick and mortar store, imagine that. Imagine your website, a brick and mortar store, and you open the front door, and then people say, wow, a shoe store. I'm going to go look for some shoes. And they come in there and you go, whoa, stop. You're not a 27 to 37-year-old female. You can't enter here. People want to buy shoes. Don't filter them out. Say, I'm looking for anybody to buy shoes, and put a shoe store ad in front of them. That's why I like this. It goes beyond the who they are, and it goes to what they want and what they're doing. And that's why I really like this new custom audience. So get in there, add some targeting, test it, play around with it. My recommendation is to add a custom audience by segmentation as an ad group so that you can identify, well, the browse websites did X, but the people who have apps interest is Y, and people visit these places is Z, and you can compare each one against. Don't just dump everything in here and say go, because then you're not going to know where your success came from. So hyper segmentation is key, making sure that they're in segmented ad groups by your targeting, add a daily budget to it, and compare against each other and see which one comes out the best. I just noticed that you were seeing a little talking head down at the bottom, and now I'm bigger. But yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, to all the good stuff that makes my ego bigger. And thank you so much for your time. Thanks.